Years ago, my sister, who also lived in Charlotte, and I met with our children at Kilbourne Park off Central Avenue. I was concerned about the number of men I saw going in and out of the public restroom there. Men walking around the park, men that drove in only to come in and use the bathroom. It was very strange, and my mommy radar was up. My sister and I were naive. We assumed maybe there was a drug dealer inside. We obviously didn't use the bathrooms that day and had to leave the park early. When I arrived home, I called the local Charlotte-Mecklenburg police station and made them aware of my concerns. An officer told me there was a problem, not with drugs, but with homosexuals that were using those park bathrooms to have sex. The officer told me there were some of the same issues at my local mall in Charlotte, and he warned me never to let my sons use the bathrooms in these areas alone. When I heard this, I was shocked and disgusted. Well, last year we found out our bathroom issues for our children are far from over. Thousands in the city rallied and cried out, what? Don't do it, Charlotte! Via emails and phone calls and showing up here to speak. But here we are again. Our mayor and some members of the Charlotte City Council want the curtain of privacy ripped down, leaving mothers along with their sons and daughters vulnerable in one of the most intimate public locations. Men using the same restrooms as my young daughters in the libraries and parks? Teenage boys sharing a locker room with teenage girls? No way. Women walking in on my sons while they're standing at a urinal? I don't think so. I cannot believe that we are considering this. Should trips to Charlotte museums and public buildings be limited because parents are worried about a potty break? No. This is going to be a real problem for a lot of families, and I'm not going to expose myself or my children to these perverse conditions.
Right.
Moms don't want to be worried about vulnerability in the bathroom. There's an element of safety implied in that little picture of a woman on one door. I'm going to do it, y'all. Hang on. And a man on the other. There is a clear line that is represented by those two images. One quick search of sex offenders within 5 miles of my address showed 190 perverts that would be available to use the ladies' room if they choose or feel comfortable in doing so. Almost 1,000 registered sexual predators in this county alone. What about sexual trafficking? Have we not heard about how big cities like Charlotte are a target for these monsters? Think of the risk. I do not want City Council making the young people of Charlotte sitting targets, and that's exactly what this ordinance would do. The proponents of these measures imply that special protection is needed for them. Now, I like that word protection because it means to safeguard, to shield, to provide sanctuary or refuge. But here's the problem. I'm not picturing the man who wants to dress and act like a woman as the one who needs that protection. My children, your children, we need that protection.
Amen.
Common sense says we don't forsake the comfort and safety of little ones to show favoritism to a small minority. Common sense says men don't use the ladies' room. Common sense says this image can be trusted. Common sense has parents and grandparents all over this city watching this unfold on the news tonight, and they are shaking their heads in disbelief that we are even considering it. And what are they all saying? Don't do it, Charlotte. I hope they put their shoes on and come out here and say it with us. It's not too late to show up and make your voice heard. This ordinance is contrary to the values that I'm instilling in my children, and I'm not going to be made to feel ashamed to say that it goes against what I believe is right. We have privacy rules at our house for good reason, and out in public, even my 4-year-old knows the difference between these two signs. But what's shameful is that the mayor and some city council members want those lines erased. Well, I say, don't do it, Charlotte.